Welcome. Welcome back to my channel Conquer the Fear. In this video, we are going to discuss about the most popular interview questions, that is Java marker interface, and what exactly are Java marker interfaces, and what is the modern way, the annotations, how it can be used up as a replacement to this particular old approach. So in this video, I'm going to explain you what is marker interface, how to use it, what is the modern approach, what is the practical applications of usage in the old way, also in the new way, how you can make use of it, and how it is making ease for you while the development. If you happen to come to this particular video for a purpose of learning what is Java marker interface, and if you are attending any interviews where this particular interview questions is asked frequently, then this is the right video where I'm going to explain you in details what exactly it is and how you can apply it in your real world applications. So let's get started. If you take a look at it, what is a marker interface? So basically, I have gone to many interviews and I could see, like, earlier, whenever there is a round of Java interview or the section of Java interview, this particular questions definitely appears because this is one of the basic interview questions, and it depicts like what is the understanding when it comes to the level of the developer. So based on his experience, based on his level of expertise, these questions are asked, but generally you will see this is definitely being asked up. So what is marker interface? So you should be able to answer it in a very practical manner, not a theoretical, and also you should have a sound understanding of it. So the very first thing is it's an interface. By the name itself, you understand that it's an interface. Okay. So now what is interface? What exactly are the classes? What is enums? So there are different types of things which are there in Java. So please check out that in my videos. You will definitely find, like, what is class, what is interface. Okay. So just to make sure, or to tell you that this interfaces are completely abstract, so there will be no implementations inside it, and the implementers has to do their own implementation. This will only provide you the skeleton. Okay. But when it comes to the marker interface, this is completely different, or the concept is different, or the usage is different, or the purpose is different. Okay. So that is the reason it will not have any methods in it. Okay. So if you compare with the real core interfaces, if you compare it with the others, like, you have collection interfaces. Okay. Then you will have different interfaces in Java, right? So that definitely will have methods, and their implementations are used in the implementation classes. But this is a special class where it will have no methods or fields inside it. So that's the special behavior when it comes to the marker interface. Okay. And it is going to be completely empty. Okay. There will be no single piece of code written inside it. So I will showcase you the real example of it. Now, as I mentioned, what is the purpose? So the main purpose, okay, is going, let's say your Java application or the JVM. Okay. It wants some class to be marked or tagged for some special behavior. Okay. Let's say some special property or special behavior has to be done at the right runtime, to understand that, to only for a certain behavior on a certain property, those set of action has to be performed. Okay. Or a framework that can internally check whether this at the runtime, this is particular interface or a class is an instance of it, or by making use of the reflection internally, it is knows that this is an marker interface. So it will not do anything by itself. It has to be done, it has to tell something about the class. So this will give the JVM or the runtime environment that this is a special class and it is intended for some special purpose. So in case of JVM, or in case of Java, There are a couple of interfaces which in the next section I will tell you. But yeah, this will not do internally anything. It's a marker class or marker tag. Actually, it will allow you to tag to this particular interface. Now if you go to the Java library, you will see there are this is just an example. So this is three examples what I've just placed it. There might be many more which you have to check it and see. But according to, like, the slide here, actually you will see the marker interfaces. One of them is the popular one is Java IO serializable. Now this particular interface, okay, marker interface especially, is going to be a class object itself that can be serial. So whoever the class is going to implement this particular interface. Okay, so only those classes are going to be serialized. Okay, so there is a concept of serialization where you convert your object to a byte stream, and there is a concept of deserialization where it is converted back from that particular byte stream to a object, so that whenever you require that things, you can actually make use of it. So as you can see, this is one of the way or one of the property or the behavior where the JVM is going to understand that this is a serializable interface implementation. So I have to take it as whether I have to look it in that way and check some things, and then they check this behavior at the runtime. Okay, similarly there is another interface that is called cloneable. Now this is going to be a marker interface that is going to allow you to copy field by field. So there is one clone method which is under the uh, object class, the super class. But this is going to allow you to copy field by field. So this is one of the, again, a behavior, separate behavior, where it is allowing you to copy. Okay, so whatever interfaces or implementations the classes interface is going to implement, so that will have this particular facility. Then there is a random access. So this is going to mark that particular list that is going to be the support. Let's say it is going to have some faster access time. So it is going to have, let's say you have an array list, right? So this is going to mark that particular thing as an which is going to support a constant time of random access, like array list is there. Okay, so this is how in the Java library there are some examples of marker interfaces. Then we'll understand what exactly the serializable interface is. I just am taking an example to make you all understand when it comes to the implementation how exactly it is. Okay, now as I mentioned, the very popular when it comes to the Java framework is serializable. So you will see that I've just given you the definition. Inside that you will see a code snippet where you will see there is an interface, the serializable, and then you will see there is nothing inside. There is no field, there is no annotation, there is no classes, static classes inside it. There is nothing inside it. There is no field also. Okay, nothing. It's an empty class. So that is the reason I mentioned whenever you are going to implement this, then at the runtime JVM will understand this is an serializable class and I have to serialize it, right? So this is going to be implementing, and it is to mark that particular thing as serialization. So it will convert it into the byte stream and then it can be deserialized. Okay, then we have marker interfaces. So we discussed that this is one of the approach what we can do now. In as the Java version is going from 1 2 3 and the latest version till Java 21 22 and 25, you will see there are new features being addition, there are some improvements being done. Okay, so from Java 5 onwards, not from the latest environment but Java 5 onwards, there is an annotation concept which was introduced, and now these are the preferred way of using it because it is going to add some metadata information to your classes, to your methods, to your fields, which in the earlier case it was not possible. Okay, so we'll definitely look at an example of an annotation as well. But I'm trying to tell you, as the Java is moving to the modern approach and the modern way with the latest versions, there has been some improvement done in that area as well. So you need to make a note of this. And this is one of the I would say the popular questions also, to understand whether he has an understanding and he is upgraded to the latest environment. So let me try to give you an example of an old approach, that is the serializable, where I'm trying to make use of the marker interface. So what I will do, there is already a class. Let's say I'm going to make an employee old approach. Okay. So here, if you see, I'm going to make use of the implement, and then I'm going to make use of this serializable. Now you see there is an io.serializable. Now you see it is not crying that you have to implement some interface and then do that, but here it is asking you to write some attributes. Okay, so I'm going to make use of this, let's say private string name. Okay, then let's say I'm going to make use of the int id over here. Okay, so here I have to create, and so I will make use of the IntelliJ features to generate the getter setters. I will make use of the constructor. So I will make use of the this one. So remember that if you are having the annotation constructor being defined, okay, so you always try to uh, create a, so if you are explicitly defining some constructor, so try to always define this. It's okay, because whenever you're trying to create an instance, okay, so this is where this particular thing will be referred up. Okay, so basically I've created a getter setter and the constructor over here. And what I will do, I will try to create an uh, employee implementation. Okay, so here what I will do, I will make use of the main method. Now here what I will do is, I will write a condition, let's say now let me give you an example of what exactly the internally the JVM will do about it. Okay, so what will happen is that internally, whenever you are going to create an employee class over here with some serializable implementation, so internally it is going to check whether that particular object, so if it is an that particular object, because it is going to deal with the objects, right? So it is internally, it is going to check that whether this particular object. Okay, so now in this case I am just trying to manually showcase you how it is going to look into. But internally, this particular object, let's say this particular object is created somewhere. Okay, and then it is trying to check the instance of, right? So it is going to check like this, whether this is an instance of an serializable or not, and then it will try to get an understanding whether this particular thing has done, and then you can have your certain behavior implemented. Okay, so here if you see, I have actually implemented this, and I'm trying to run this, and you see that this is again implemented. Now let's say if I try to replace this with an employee implementation over here, or the same class, right? Now you see it is not implementing any interface. Now let's see what is the behavior. Now you see it is saying that it is not the employee. Okay, it's an not serializable. Okay, so this is how you do it in the uh, I mean, how internally the JVM is going to make use of it. Okay, then let us look at the modern approach. Okay, so I am going to create one annotation class. Okay, as I already mentioned, with respect to Java 5 onwards, there is an annotation introduction where this is one of the preferred ways, so that you can actually have some metadata information to the classes, method, fields. Okay, so let me write an annotation for you. So what I will do, I will create an a custom let's say interface. Okay, so here I'm going to make use of okay, So here I'm going to make use of an interface, custom serializable. Okay, so here I'm going to create it. Now I have to mark this as an at the rate. Then what I have to do is that I have to write at the rate retention. Okay, so these are all the things which would require by the JVM to really understand that this is an annotation being used up. Now I'm going to make use of the retention policy at the runtime. So at the runtime, I'm going to have this particular behavior to understand, right? And then what are the target, right? So the target type, okay? So I'm going to make use of this particular target annotation, and here I'm going to make use of the uh, element type to type over here. So this is going to be that annotations I'm going to check at the runtime. Now here I'm going to simply mark it as a thing. Okay, so how we can make use of it, right? That I can create one class over here. Let's say annotation employee. Okay, so here what I will do, I will have that custom serializable annotation applicable over here. So now this is annotation is applicable to it and it is being used up. Okay, so this is how you can use it. And internally, now whenever I'm going to make use of the implementation over here, what I will do, I will check, okay, that particular employee class. Okay, let's say that employee annotation. Okay, if the annotation employee dot class, okay, is annotation present on it or not. Okay, so I will make use of the custom serializable and then I will run this. Okay, so let me comment this as of now. Okay, so in this way what you can do, you can make use of this. Now you see this is marked customizable. So this is how you mark this, and using make use of the annotation, you can create it and then you can make use of it, right? So this is quite simple. Okay, so here you can actually also make use of the different let's say role based analysis. So inside this you can actually define your method, and then wherever you're trying to do the annotation, let's say I'm trying to define some, let's say, the role, right? So it's going to make use of it. Okay, so here it will expect that thing to be the role, right? So I have to give some role as an employee. Okay, so this way you can actually make use of this annotation and check that. Okay, now let us come to the comparison. As we have already looked the code of the modern approach, the old approach, which is better, how we can use it. So I would like to tell you that in the features, this was introduced in Java 1, this was introduced in Java 5. Now the approach is implementing interface or using the annotation. You can mark that only related to the class. So you can only do that with the I mean, whenever you have implementing interface, you can only deal with the classes or the interfaces. But when it comes to annotation with this particular thing, so you already know, I've shown you an example of how you can annotate with class, but there you can actually introduce in that interface some methods, some fields, some parameters, etc., and you can annotate it with, right? So you can make use of those fields. Then you can make use of the instance of, and then I gave you an example of, in the modern approach there is a method called is annotation present, is annotation. There are different methods available so that you can make use of it. So it is making use of the reflection API, okay, internally. Then there is a rigid, it cannot hold any information, right? So but if you see this this annotation can hold information like value, attributes, okay, all things. So you now know that which is the modern approach, which is the old approach, okay, and which is preferable, what are the benefits of it. Okay, so I hope you got a clear understanding, the implementation details as well, when to use it. Okay, then let's move on. So till date, okay, as the Java is still growing and improving itself with the latest versions and improvement, still whenever you're going with the modern approach, let's say 21 and beyond that, like 24, 25, etc., they are used, but not very extensively, but they are rarely used. As I mentioned, annotations are preferred way now. There are some sealed interfaces has been introduced as part of Java 17. Okay, those are very flexible when it comes to making use of the metadata, or you wanted some control over it, like how many classes should be only implementing it, and there should be a strict policy where who can implement, how many classes can implement, what is the internal architecture, and where it is applicable. Okay, so these kind of things, as improvement in Java are going on, this sealed interfaces were part of it. Okay, I hope I was able to explain you in depth about what is marker interface, what is the modern approach, what is the old approach, how to implement in the code, what is the way to implement in the annotation way. Okay, if this video has given you some value, give us a thumbs up on it, and also don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. Also check out my channel for more such technical videos on Java, Spring Boot, microservices, and also there are tons of videos on Java interviews, Spring Boot interviews, where people have attended and they have gained higher packages like 35, 40, 50, right? So 50 like packages also till people have attended and learn from this particular videos, and they have attended, okay, and crack those interviews. So these videos are really helpful, and it will help you in the long run to increase your salary, knowledge, etc. Okay, so please do check out that, and thank you for watching my videos and liking them. So thank you.